That's the Department of Defense. This is the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Oh.
So two separate entities. There's a place to pick up the medication, like lungs, drugs or something. Yeah, that's next door. We have a department down there that when you get injured or something like I did, they determine how injured I am, how much of a percentage I'm supposed to get. You get
Like
compensation.
10%, 20%, 100%.
100% is good.
But each office is a different messy for your kidneys. They actually had guest housing right up there. Like $50 a night. It's beautiful. It's a big room. No office. But we don't have that anymore. Mini hospital. This whole building. All his specialties in here. And they found that they get better results. You know, if I talk to a homeless veteran than if a psychiatrist talked to them or something, you know what I mean? 'Cause
Right.
they tend to listen. You're not talking down to them, you're talking with them.
And
Yeah.
from experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so I
See-
can empathize, sympathize, you know. A lot of them don't want anything to do with the government still, and, you know, they have a bad taste in their mouth, but you get that one individual and it's, whew, it means a lot, you know.
Yeah. Hey, hey.
Most of them can get benefits here, so they come here, and this is the mental health ward here, so they have mental health issues, PTSD. They have physical issues, we address those, and housing, then we address that. So we have different types of housing. I gave you some brochures here. There's like yeah, I came here 25 years ago because I was stationed out here, and I fell in love with Hawaii, so I said I was going to come back, and I chose to come here to retire. And I didn't know anything about Hawaii. I was on a big island for a couple of weeks, and I was going to live in a grass hut.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I didn't know it was a big city, you know. And once you fall into that crack, it's hard to get out. You just become a number, you know. So once again, I was fortunate. You know, somebody cared enough. I call them angels, you know. They found me, and I ended up at Castle. And then from Castle, I was ready to leave, and at the last second, she goes, "Are you a veteran by any chance?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, we got this place out at Barbers Point." So that's our Grand Per Diem program, right? US Vets. And I went through the program. And then they liked me. I volunteered there, and they ended up hiring me. And I
Now look at you.
now I put
Right.
a bit in the VA, and they're unique. You almost hit it on the head. I chose. I'm from Chicago originally.
Oh.
And a friend and me, his wife had kicked him out of the house. I had lost my job, and there was no work available. The rest of my friends were all married and everything, so him and me, we decided to we flipped the coin. We wanted to go somewhere where it was warm. Heads it was Florida, tails it was California. We ended up going to San Diego. And I stayed there. I was homeless there for about a year. And then we got tired of that, and we said, let's go to Hawaii. I was stationed there. I said, yeah, I was there too. So I had saved enough money via my sister, and a long story there, but I had money to get here one way. And I got to Hawaii, and I was living in Alalana Beach Park. You know, and
I hear a lot of those stories.
yeah, it's, you know, we lived in the long pole, you know where that wall is, and there was 4 of us. We had a little hui, a little gang. 2 guys would stay awake and 2 would sleep, because the homeless will steal from each other to survive, you know. You gotta be careful. So,
It's hard.
it's just, yeah, it's a daily routine, just got really old. You know, you get up because the sprinklers go on and the birds are chirping, so you have to get up. And you walk to IHS, the shelter downtown, you get your breakfast, and then if you're lucky, you got a bus pass. We had a handicap bus pass. It was raining, we'd go Circle Island, kill time until lunchtime. And you do this every day, and it gets old. As soon as it gets dark, you go to sleep, because you just want to forget about it. And that's why a lot of the drinking and a lot of drugging comes, because they just want to escape that feeling of loneliness, you know, and no one cares and this and that. They feel sorry for themselves. I did, but there's a way out, you know. I was in from 1984 to 1988, and when we got discharged, they gave us our papers and they thanked us for our service, and that was it. And we never even heard of the VA, what the VA. Now they're bridging the gap, but back then it was 20 years before I even knew what the VA was.
Wow.
And I got injured when I was training. A big eye on my hand. My nerves, a howitzer, a cannon, landed on my hand and it crushed it. And as a result, I get service-connected disability, which is lump sum. It's pays my rent every month, so I didn't know that I could get that. You know, I didn't know the VA was there for me. And I think a lot of the veterans out there today don't realize the benefits are there for them. And they need to be educated, so that's part of the outreach project we do too.
We have, you know, a range of housing programs. We have a program on the leeward side where they do outreach. We have a program that works with veterans who have legal issues and they might be incarcerated. We also have some agencies that have gotten grants or money to work with our veterans. So here in Hawaii and the Netherlands, two agencies, Catholic Charities and U.S. Vets, have been given money. So it's more of a kind of like a prevention model. So if somebody might be short on rent or things like that, they can call this agency and get help. So there's a web that's been created to kind of prevent people from falling into homelessness, because it's much harder to kind of get a person out of homelessness once they fall into homelessness.
Do you see many homeless veterans come in on their own often? And if so, do they have any mental disorders? And which is the most occurring?
Yes, we see them a lot, and I'd say PTSD.
Which means?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Veterans will come in and they'll have pets, like dogs, and they're like
Yeah.
family members, and they will not leave that pet alone. And those are hard to house. There's a lot of, that's a big problem.
How do you treat veteran PTSD?
Good question.
A lot of ways.
What we do, again, is the first thing when they come in, we do something where we do like an assessment, and we're trying to figure out where to best place the individual. So, if they were homeless, we would try to get them in our homeless program. And then they would get, shortly thereafter, they would get a test, and they would meet with somebody and talk, and then based upon the results of that, if it was determined that they had PTSD, we'd make a referral to that program. And with that program, we have, there's actually a residential program.
They sleep here, they stay here.
Which is for 12 beds, and then several months long, things like 8 weeks long. And then, or if they were in our program, they could come here and get linked up with a psychologist or psychiatrist, depending upon.
Why do you help homeless vets?
Because to have a veteran defend their country and come back home and live on the street is a sin. And it shouldn't be that way. Thank them for their service. It means a lot to them.
We've created a website and we've made cards, and kids like this can download the cards, and if they see a homeless veteran, they can give the card to them and it says use some resources.
Oh, nice.
Do you think you would have called?
Yeah, definitely.
Why?
Somebody cared, you know. Somebody showed they cared. So I still have on our refrigerator a Valentine's card from, I think it was from Iroquois, from a couple of years ago. And it just says, thank you for your service. And it means a lot.
So my program, we see the veterans on the street. We have outreach staff. So we, talk to the veterans, identify what their needs are. Oftentimes we bring them in to get registered, or a lot of them come in on their own. So then we do intake. We meet with them, kind of figure out what program best suits their needs. And if it's emergency housing, my staff, we have contracted beds kind of throughout the island here and on the neighbor islands, and we put them in emergency housing, which is kind of a temporary situation to help them get back on their feet, get the documentation they need, and then we will refer them to Rochelle's team in Hud-Bash if permanent supported housing is an option for them. We have other programs that I'm sure you heard about, the GPD Grant Per Diem program.
That's US Vets.
The US Vets program. We can also refer them there and give them community resources. We get veterans that walk in and never receive services, so we can, start with registration. We get veterans that are kind of our regulars that, they receive mail here or they need toiletries or anything like that, so they can come here and receive things and clothes from us. And we have, on the other side of the VA, we have a place where someone can get showers and get clothes over there, and we have staff on site over there. I would say between 15 and 30 a day, whether they're new, whether they're off the plane, whether they're newly homeless or going to be homeless and need other resources. We also provide resources to people that are housed and are at a point where they just recently got laid off and they don't know if they can afford housing. So that's when we give them other community resources, rooms for rent, kind of cheaper options in the interim until they get back on their feet.